MrBeast is a sociopath. That is what is being claimed by Dogpack404 in his latest YouTube video, I work for MrBeast, he's a sociopath, which of course is a follow-up to the hugely popular video that went viral, I work for MrBeast, he's a fraud. I've only watched a few segments of the video so far. I wanted to save it for a video, but the whole thing exposes even more truth than we could have possibly imagined from the first place. But before we get into that, this video has been confirmed by Jake Franklin, who of course was also a MrBeast employee, otherwise known as Jake the Viking. He says, confirm Weddle's opening comments. When I was hired by MrBeast, his mum asked me several times to delete my social medias. I told her no. I told her I use my Instagram for modelling/acting stuff. And then there has been another thing that has come out as well regarding a leaked internal email from MrBeast, which goes on to state, Dear Team Beast, I wanted to update all of you on the recent concerns that have been raised online and in the press. As I mentioned in my tweet a couple of weeks ago, we've hired Quinn Emanuel, a top law firm, to do a full investigation on the Ava Tyson allegations. We also asked them to expand the scope to include the full assessment of our internal culture and to investigate allegations of inappropriate behaviour by people in the company. While the process is not complete, I have enough preliminary information at this point that I'm announcing several changes today. As your leader, I take responsibility. I am committed to continue and improve and evolve my leadership style. While I have mostly focused on creating content, launching Feastables, building our community, and leading our philanthropic efforts, I recognise that I also need to create a culture that makes all our employees feel safe and allows them to do their best work. Therefore, along with Jess Heisenbold, our new president and COO, I will be hiring a new chief human resources officer, chief financial officer, and a general counsel, along with all of the roles to add capacity to the competencies to foster a better internal culture as we continue to grow. To start off, we will be instituting hiring a new chief human resources officer, mandatory training, listening sessions, anonymous reporting, and external review. I want to let you know that I'm optimistic about the company's future and I appreciate all of your contributions. We are seeing many examples of your hard work, as recently became our first channel to surpass 300 million YouTube subscribers. Our last two main channel videos were our largest growing in history of the company, and our philanthropic work continues to be a positively impact our community and our planet. In summary, I am fully committed to seeing the investigation process through and acting on the recommendations. We will circle back and share our learnings and any necessary changes. Thank you for your continued teamwork and dedication to our mission and our community. If you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or Jeff directly. Jimmy. Now this says company confidential, do not distribute, which of course someone didn't quite get that memo because they shared it with drama alert. But this is a step in the right direction. But is it too little, too late? That's the question, because Dogpack has once again, like I've said before, released a brand spanking new video, and within 8 hours it has had 2.6 million views. It is damning, it is crazy, but he's a sociopath, as this is from the description before we get started. He's a sociopath is my opinion based on the Cambridge Dictionary definition of a sociopath, a person who is completely unable or unwilling to behave in a way that is accepted by society. He's a sociopath in no way should be interpreted as a medical diagnosis or a statement of fact. The video is not monetized once again. This video is for educational purposes. The video features materials produced by fair use guidelines, all rights reserved to the copyright owners. So we're going to take a little look at Dogpack's latest video. He does go on to explain about a part 3 as well. And again, just to double take it, this video is not monetized and is for educational purposes only. So, you know, doubling down on the fact that he's not making any money from this content that he's creating. It is strictly for the truth. Let's get into it.
I'm hungry. I'll write jokes for food. I wish a philanthropist YouTuber would just give me 10K and not film it. Hey, what the hell happened to you? MrBeast, that's what happened to me.
What we do here is go back.
I was gonna be somebody. I was gonna be the Carl took my job. Carl took my job. I'm the worst production ever did
content cop from Temu, back at it again. So just before I get into my interrogation with former MrBeast employee Jake Weddle,
So yeah, that's the whole point of that intro, is Jake Weddle also worked for MrBeast for a period of time. I think it's around 2019. So that's why he's included within this video.
a lot has happened since my last video. After posting it, I got hundreds of messages from former MrBeast employees, and I had them all like send proof of former employment. You know, just people showing their support or...
So it says, just watch your video, and I don't know if people are accusing you of not working for MrBeast, but bro, I feel you, like your experiences with the higher ups are the same as mine, and the way that you mentioned specifically pitching ideas for the Feastables bar is 100% how it was creating pitches. As a writer, the whole brand is shady, and the company is as well. Now, I'm actually really surprised that Dogpack actually made a part 2 to this, because obviously after the first part, MrBeast did send him a cease and desist. So I'm very, very surprised that there was a part 2. You know, legal action could go flying around in these kind of accusations, but he's stuck to his guns and he's gone for it, so fair play.
Telling their stories of you know, fake videos or unsafe practices, you know, toxic workplace, stuff like that. I'm not really going to get into those claims because, for one, like, most people want to stay anonymous, which I understand. And also, like, I think most of that stuff's just been covered with you know, the news coming out about Beast Games and everything. And also I have like more serious allegations that I want to start covering. Also, I heard from a very credible source that MrBeast has been sitting on a response to part 1 because he was worried if he posted it, I would instantly respond with part 2, you know, like this is Kids Bop, Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. Also, I know MrBeast's secret CEO has been practically like harassing my people on, you know, hey, what's in part 2? What does he know? So
wow.
I will just...
That, you know, that comes across as a bit shady, and it shows a level of concern about what this guy might truly expose. And he goes on to state that this is obviously going to be coming in part 3, but the fact that MrBeast is sat on a response is interesting. I didn't think that he would respond to these allegations, but the fact that he sat on a response is quite telling.
Tell you, James, what will be in part 3, so you don't have to harass my people. It will be about serious allegations of sexual misconduct in the company and your direct involvement in covering up those crimes.
Oh.
And I'll make sure to give you full credit and plaster your face all over the screen when we talk about that. So yeah, I've gotten dozens of messages from former MrBeast employees of very serious allegations. So I just want to put a call to action at the start of this video that, you know, if you have a story, you can DM me. Just make sure you send proof of employment first, because I get a lot of DMs. And like, as much as I meme and joke around, like, I take anonymity very seriously. So without explicit permission, I don't go public with anything. And
fair enough.
Obviously, if it goes to court, I would hope they would censor your information from the court documents. I don't know. Oh, and former contestants too. That's another thing I heard after posting my last video is during the 100 Boys versus Girls video, I have people corroborating the same story that the camera guy who gave the girls a drone was making some girls feel uncomfortable.
Oh.
You trap these girls in a circle and make them sleep on rough turf and get them high on paint fumes, and then you try to f them.
Okay, that...
Bro, oh my god, he literally went there. MrBeast production crew trapping 100 girls in a circle, depriving them of sleep, starving them, and trying to bang. Oh my god.
that seems really dark.
No, it's not dark. You're misunderstanding me, bro.
I think I am.
Yeah, you are. Because if the girl said no, then the answer obviously is no.
No.
But the thing is she's not gonna say no. She would never say no because of the implication.
This is
anyway,
horrific.
so that will be part 3. So, you know, MrBeast, do with that information what you will. I know Chucky didn't want to respond to those allegations. So anyway, my interview with Jake Weddle, I chose to interview him because I thought he was perfect, because he was both on camera and behind the scenes in 2019 and 2020. And also, what people don't know is that he came back in 2021 to be the sole contestant of a MrBeast video, which never got uploaded because it went very badly. He also knows about another portable document format who was working at MrBeast while actually on the registry. And I'll get more into that story at the end of the video. So I got his...
Oh my god, this just got real deep. The first video was, you know, like, whimsical. It was, you know, like, the allegations were there, but they weren't too serious. It was about faking content and stuff, which, you know, is to be expected on a platform like YouTube. But this is digging up some real skeletons in the closet. This is bad.
DM, drove straight to New York overnight, did not sleep, just drank a bunch of caffeine. And I also only had one microphone in the interview, which he's wearing. So it's mostly just him talking. Also, like, final thing, people said my last video started slow. This video also starts slow. It builds up over time, but I'll do the retention thing and say, the ending will blow your mind. It's crazy. Yeah. Okay, Jake Weddle, everybody.
I'm Jake Weddle. Most people who, if you know me from MrBeast, I'm a deep cut. I'm in a few of the videos, sometimes maybe purposefully kept to the shadows a little bit. I'm in the cutting room floor a lot of the time. But I've been in some videos, I've worked on a lot of them. I was there from 2019 to 2020, 2021-ish when I came back and did some more. I was there when they were authentic, and then I saw the transition to what I feel like is a company. He's like a TV show now. It went from YouTuber guy with a camera to Amazon. The culture around there was very unspoken, but there was a vibe. There was half the people who, if you made Jimmy happy, you were on the good half. And these people got random bonuses and were usually moved up, had more screen time. And then there was people who, if you had a disagreement or butt heads with Jimmy or just you didn't like it, you were in the other half. And
wow.
I consistently was in the half that Jimmy doesn't like me. That's fine. I don't like him either. It's okay. Oh, that feels so good to say. I don't like Jimmy. I hate you so much. He didn't want anyone to get more popular or have more of a way out necessarily. Like, oh, I'm doing my Twitch thing on the side. Don't do that because you could get famous and leave and talk about me negatively.
Look at Jake the Viking. This is exactly why I wanted to show that tweet, because apparently when he joined MrBeast, his mum, MrBeast's mum, wanted Jake to delete his social media platforms because, well, maybe for that exact reason. You can get bigger, you can leave, you can go on and do something else, and then, you've got a way out. So, wow, that's shady.
And I could tell that the yes men were, doing well, and I was, disgruntled for quite some time. So I've talked to reporters, right, like publicly, and I've always had to choose my words very, very carefully because I don't want to say anything I don't stand behind, obviously. So I used to talk to people. I used to glaze Jimmy publicly for things I do genuinely think are true. But then it's like, well, how come you didn't talk about the working conditions? Well, I wanted a career. I didn't want to, speak ill of YouTube's golden boy and then I'm blacklisted forever. I tell people I was talking to you, and they go, "Don't, what are you doing? You're going to kill your career." It's like, I have to or I'll be sad. If this is the moment, we're going to talk about it. So,
wow.
As far as that, that's my covering up of why we didn't talk about XYZ sooner, but now you know.
What would you say is the fakest video that you worked on while you were there?
Fakest video that I worked on while I was there. This is the extent of the fakeness that I was involved to. This is like admitting to my complicity. I was a writer there, and we were working on a video, crushing my friend's car with a rock or meteor or something. It was a rock or a meteor in the title of it. I can't remember, but he wanted to do a prank where, unbeknownst to the person, he takes a rock, crushes their car, and they're supposed to think a rock came out of space.
We're gonna take a meteor and we're gonna put it on Weddle's car. We're gonna take another meteor and put it on Marcus's car. Both of them have no idea that we're doing this. Weddle and Marcus are probably shocked. They had no idea.
And so that was the one and only time I had to, my car? What? And on the fly, I saw him, because Marcus was in that video. So Marcus is calling his mom. Marcus genuinely had no idea. He genuinely had no idea. But so Marcus is calling his mom, and his mom's freaking out. And I'm like, oh no, they're gonna call my mom next. So I had to text my mom, who had to beg to get the title very quickly. Now I'm texting my mom, I go, "Mom, I'm about to call you about the meteor thing. You have no idea? Be surprised." And then I hit send, and then they go, "Call your mom now." And I call my mom and I tell her, and oh, she should have got the Oscar. Oh my God, on the fly, she goes, "What? I'm on vacation." Mom, my car has been destroyed.
Wait, what?
A meteor hit it.
Jacob, I'm on vacation. Do you understand?
Yeah, I did that video.
Weddle's mum's a real one. She is a real one for that. What a hero.
And they're supposed to give me $10K to put a down payment on a new car, and they wanted me to get like a big flashy new car. $10K was supposed to be a down payment. And I can't afford a big flashy new car because I work at MrBeast. So I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the taxes on. I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the insurance on. So I do my part of the video, and I get a mom van that I could afford. And Jimmy was like, "Why didn't you get a cooler car?" I was like, I can't afford that, bro. Come on, what are you talking about? If I was working on a TV show in the 90s, on a show that was a quarter as successful, I could retire today. But now I make dog shit pay, making gajillionaires more money. And I just walked into the writer's room. And that's one of the reasons why I left, was because I just walked in there and asked for not necessarily a gajillion dollars, but maybe a salary that was more proportional to the work I was doing, given how much revenue that work was doing. And then, I talked about that, and I talked about the Writers Guild and how this is what Writers Guild industry standard is for the streaming internet content with ads. I thought that was the closest thing to YouTube, and I didn't even bring up residuals, because oh my god, if I got residuals for every video I worked on, boy howdy, I could retire. But the other thing I talked about was there was another writer there, older comic, black guy. He had a kid, and I got paid more than him, and I thought that was wild because he was older than me, had a child. We're doing the exact same job, and I'm some 20-year-old fuckhead white guy. Why am I getting paid more than him? I brought that up, and one of the things I didn't like about the way some of the Beast stuff shook out was...
Oh, bless him. You can tell that this is like, he's clung on to this for a long time. And he's finally had the opportunity to speak out on a platform where people will listen. Because if he makes these allegations prior to all of this going on, he's jealous, he's a disgruntled ex-employee, he's this, he's that, MrBeast is the golden boy and he can do no wrong. But since all of these allegations have come out, which, might I add, has all sparked from the Ava Chris Tyson situation, like that started this snowball effect, and now this snowball is so big that I don't even think that MrBeast can cling on to it. We've got Beast Games, Ava Chris Tyson, we've got all these allegations coming out from Dogpack, we've got all sorts of stuff coming out of the woodworks, and, it's not looking good. But you can tell now that he's finally had this opportunity. Look at that face, man. It's clear that this means a lot.
I feel really guilty about the way this shook out. I was talking to this other writer, it's fucked up, that's how the pay is, and I want you to get paid more, because you deserve to get paid more. I don't have a kid. And he didn't want to rock the boat. He desperately didn't want to rock the boat. He's just, I like my job. I like, because when you grow up with nothing, not to say that he did, but I know I did. You get a little something, you don't want to lose it. So he didn't want to rock the boat.
Oh man.
But he said, "Hey man, if that's how you feel, if that's I trust you." He stood with me. He went into that meeting with me, and I said my piece, and he backed me up. I said, "I need XYZ, or I'm out of here." And they said, bet, and they gave me a severance check the next day. And they gave him a severance check the next day. And if I knew...
Oh, man.
If I knew he was going to lose his job too, I wouldn't have done it.
Oh my god.
Me, I was over the moon. I was like, you're going to give me a check and I get to leave? I don't get to deal with the how many Orbeez can I fit up my asshole every day, And I get to go home and you're going to pay me to leave. I was over the moon. And he was devastated.
Oh, man.
He did not want. I said, he just wanted to be in the room, And I really regret that.
Damn, this is the thing. MrBeast, just the name alone, carries so much weight to the point where, if everybody's replaceable because everybody wants to work with MrBeast. You think, wow, I get to be a part of the biggest YouTube channel in history? That's a great and golden opportunity. So of course these people are replaceable. Writers, editors, staff, crew, whoever. The people that aren't as replaceable, of course, are the on-screen people. That's why we've got the likes of Mac, we've got the likes of, Chandler's not really there anymore. Ava Chris Tyson, of course, isn't going to be there anymore. Obviously, MrBeast is not going anywhere. Jimmy's the face of it all. But, those kind of people are replaceable. You've also got, I forget Nolan. You've got Nolan, you've got people like that, they're not going anywhere.
But, me and him, we're really still tight. We're still good friends.
Oh.
Is he doing good? Yeah, he's doing good. He's a good guy. I love that guy. He's doing good. Yeah.
So maybe you're still better?
Honestly, best thing I could have done for him. Now that he's very, very far removed from all this crazy shit, I guess.
Do you think Jimmy really enjoys doing good and helping people?
I think Jimmy wants to be the best YouTuber. I think he is laser focused on one goal. And I think whatever he has to do to achieve that goal, he'll do. And I think it was the smartest decision for him that he calculated, because he's very good with numbers. If I donate to charity, people can't say I'm shitty. If I give this homeless guy 10K, what do you mean I'm a bad guy? But I've always thought, if you're going to do something nice for somebody and you stick a camera in their face while you do it, you didn't do a nice thing for somebody. You gained something. There was a homeless guy on the street and you saw an opportunity for yourself and your image, and you gave one guy $10,000 who needed it to eat, and now the revenue you generated from that video is way more than what you...
This is a double-edged sword. Yes, he's absolutely right with what he's saying, but the argument and the counter-argument to this, and this will be kind of one of the few times people I'll counter-argue anything within this video, is to continue doing those nice things, that money's got to come from somewhere, you know? Like, yes, people do philanthropy for, you know, out of the goodness of their hearts at times. Some people do it because they've already got another revenue stream, for example. Maybe you're like a multi-millionaire for, let's say, Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos he's got Amazon, and he decides he can just go into a homeless shelter and just give everyone a home. I don't know, for example. He doesn't need to put a camera in someone's face to be able to recoup the losses, not losses, but, you know, the donations and the funds for those donations, because he's got Amazon, which is cooking away. Yes, he'll make triple the amount that he's like donated within the same amount of time of being there. But MrBeast, his way of recouping that money to be able to pass on that nicety once again is to put a camera in someone's face. Does that make sense? I feel like that's the only caveat there, if that makes sense. Like, you know, it's a double-edged sword. Like, yes, that could be how that's perceived, but at the same time, let's look at it from this point of view where, you know, MrBeast needs to put a camera in someone's face in order to be able to recoup that money so he can then reinvest that and do more nice things, if that makes sense. Or nice things, you know, depending on how this video pans out.
I think when he's generous on camera, it's the least authentic thing in the world. There's an element of, you know, oh, hey, you're crying. That's so good for camera. You know, I'm so glad if you're crying because you're so thankful that you got XYZ, and then you go, oh, I'm so glad he needed it that bad so I could come in and, oh, can you cry more? Oh, it's so good for the camera if you could. Oh, it made me uncomfortable that I was working there, and I didn't like it. And I vocalized it sometimes, and I think that's why I wasn't on camera as much as they said I was going to be. I was told at one point that I was going to be like fourth banana, you know, it was going to be Jimmy, Chris, Chandler, me, you know, and then that never happened. And I remember talking about that, like, hey, I thought my contract said XYZ. And then I got the severance checks, so, you know, whatever, all that regard.
So after your severance checks, how was your relationship with the company? I know you appeared in videos after that, right?
Right, so in videos where I was appearing in later, that's why you keep nice publicly. If you're nice in public, hey, Jake was nice in public, let's have him back for something. You know, yeah, sure. So I was hoping they call back, you know? And I appeared in some videos after I left. I think one of them was 3 days at a maximum security prison. If I did do mini challenges in that, I got paid. I was, you know, clocked in with a rate, and I would get paid and compensated for those. But there was one video I was in, I got paid a lot for, but it didn't come out. It didn't come out because it didn't go well.
Oh.
There was a video that came out probably like a year ago, something like that. It got a lot of hot water when it came out. It was the surviving like $10,000 every day you survive in solitary, or surviving solitary for whatever. It was one of those solitary confinement videos that got a lot of media attention because everybody saw the premise and thought, what? You shouldn't do that. And people don't know that was the second attempt.
Wow.
The first attempt was on me, and it didn't go well.
Oh my God.
I was already planning on moving to New York, and I had worked at a couple of YouTube companies after Beast, and I had a little bit of change in my pocket. You know, the most change I had in my pocket ever. You know, small potatoes, you know, compared to Beast bullshit. But you know, I thought I had enough to move to New York or whatever. And I get a call from somebody over there, and they go, "Hey, they want you for a video." I was like, "Oh, amazing, great, cool, thank God." what's the video? And they tell me the pitch. And they try to make the pitch sound like it's going to be like a walk in the park. The pitch is 100 days in solitary confinement. But don't worry, like you only have to last like 30. We have like a video. They're pitching it like at first it's going to be like a luxury vacation. You're going to have like a hot tub and an ice cream machine. And like part of the video is going to be you deciding like what items am I going to get rid of, today? And it's like the choice. They were like, it's only going to be bad for maybe the last like 5 days tops when you have like nothing left. You're the first, it's going to be like a breeze for most of it. And by the end of it, after 30 days, you're going to get $300,000 because it's $10,000 a day. Wow. And I don't know, man. I grew up poor in North Carolina. I said, excuse me? I'll dance for you if you put that kind of money in my face, sure.
I mean, most people would. I absolutely would. If someone's promising me 30 days work, 300 grand, I will do anything for anyone for that kind of money.
They were like, you're going to be locked in this room, and we got to make sure you're on all the time. We're going to have cameras on you all the time, and you're perfect for this because you never shut the fuck up. On paper, I was like, okay, I can do this, and I was. They always cut me out of the videos. They always, and I was, editors had told me that it's because you have too much of a personality. And so with this video,
wow, he had too much of a personality, so he got cut from the video. Was that because he undermines everyone else within the video? Does he like overshadow everyone else? But like, surely though, personality is a good thing. You want personality in your videos, but I guess not at the expense of showing up someone like MrBeast.
This is perfect. It's a video they can't cut me out of. I'm the guy. And so I thought, well, if I have to do this, if I have to do solitary confinement in order to do the things I want to do, then I will do that. That I held my tongue and I swallowed my pride and I tried to do one last ride. And I get there. And at first it's fine. And they had just freshly painted the set. You could smell it, which that's probably not good, the smell of fresh paint in your surroundings for the next XYZ time. It looked good on the visual. It looks good on camera. It's movie magic bullshit. It was a terrible facility. It was in one of the studios. They had to get a separate tank for septic stuff. There was a hot tub in it. There was an ice cream machine. Things were cool and funny on paper, but when you think about stuff, a hot tub that's not connected to a filtration system, give it 3 days, it's gonna stink. If there's not a hot water mechanism, so the hot tub was a lukewarm tub at best, which was a silly complaint, but the shower was always cold, and you're taking a quick shower. And I had cameras 24/7 on me, and the ice cream machine. Let's talk about that for a second. The ice cream machine has 2 modes: on, and off, reeking of smelly dairy mildew. So I got to choose which sense was assaulted at a time. I couldn't have all of them good. So the little things started to build up. There was the bug thing wasn't terrible, but it was a factor. And at first it was fine, and you're playing it up because it's a video, and it got to a point where they weren't turning the lights off. I asked them, I said, can we have nighttime hours? And they said no, because it would fuck up the time lapse shots. The time lapse of what? Me sleeping or me not sleeping? Yeah, I saw in other videos they did oh, you're gonna get XYZ hours of sunlight. Oh, great. Well, I don't know how they figured that one out. I didn't have it. One of the things was you got to take away your clock, so you didn't know what time it was. Okay, I got no access to sun. I got no access to clock. I don't know,
Again, I understand why he's upset, and I can understand how that can really, mentally mess you up. But that's kind of the point of the challenge, your solitary confinement. You're not supposed to have luxuries, time, you see that we've seen the videos, clearly this was round 1. We've seen round 2 and how that went. The psychological effects was what was interesting about the video. It wasn't how long can someone survive on their own. It was how long can they survive with their own mind, and that's what was making the video interesting. So I completely understand that these are not humane conditions, full stop. But at the same time, that was the point of the video. So I see it from both sides where the psychological effects were what made the video interesting. It was like, that's why people tuned in. They wanted to see how long can someone truly survive in solitary confinement.
The lights are on me all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there. I had good people looking out for me. I had a lot of good people looking out for me, saying, "This we gotta stop." So I just wanted to turn the lights off, and I'm vocalizing to people, "I wish the lights would turn off." And I go up to my friend, my good friend. And I go, "They're not turning the lights off." He goes, "What? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists."
Oh my god, yes, the United Nations consider sleep deprivation a form of torture and war crime under Geneva Convention, and the UN Torture Convention. Oh my god, it genuinely is a war crime.
Oh good. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing. So, they're giving me, melatonin, it's not helping, and then Jimmy would come in like every other day for like an hour, to check in on me because he's doing other stuff. I'm just the guy in the cage over here. He'll come back to me in a minute. And so he'd come by, he'd get the shots, he'd leave. Sometimes he'd have a note with the director over the phone. That would really piss me off. This is the note I got from the director, from Jimmy, when I'm receiving some cash. He said, Jimmy said, "Can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans?" You know how hard it was to do a take of that? And pretend to make it genuine?
Wow.
I don't want to have student loans. I don't want to be in a cage. But Jimmy's the guy with the money, and if you do what he says, he'll do what you want. You want your student loans paid off? You just be in this cage. And you have power over people. When one person doesn't have resources and the other one does, and they hold it over your head, and you go, of course, yeah, I agreed to it.
Oh my god.
I needed it, of course. And just something about like having the cameras on me all the time. Like I was not having a good time, but we were filming a video, so I was trying my best to be funny. I'm a dark comic. I got bits about. I had a very traumatic life. I have my dad is in jail for sexual assault of a minor. So this kind of stuff is very near and dear to my heart. I don't fuck around with this shit. I have jokes about that in my act. I joke about it because that's what you do in a traumatic experience. Abusive relationships. I get out of it. The first thing I do is I do a typine about it. So I'm in this situation where my mental health is not good. My physical health is getting worse. But we're filming, so I'm doing bits. I'm talking to the camera, and I'm being, like, hey, it's been a couple days. I'm not doing so hot, Which if I'm filming a video, that's what I should be doing for the camera. But it was too real. If they're faking videos, why couldn't we fake this one? If we're allowed to let these cast members have some time off of this difficult challenge, how come we couldn't turn the lights off? How come we couldn't maybe not have some time-lapse footage for 10 seconds?
Did you try to get out?
Yes! I was starting to calculate, I don't know if I could do 30. How much can I, how can I manage to get out of here sooner and still have a video and still have some cash and get the plug, man. I didn't. Since we're doing time-lapse shots and since they insisted on time-lapse shots, I said, all right, we'll give you time-lapse shots back. I put my YouTube on with the whiteboard they gave me. And I was like, all right, yeah, go ahead and scrub that footage. You got that whiteboard. Oh no, either that goes in or this footage is unusable. And then, James Warren came in and erased it. Don't put that. Hey, we can torture him. Don't you dare let him get a plug in there.
Oh my god.
Like we were playing up the joke. It's like I'm the boy in the cage. Whatever. Like I'll play into a joke. Whatever. It's fine. It's just something weird about when Jimmy jokes. I have jokes about my dad. Because I love jokes with my dad. I'll joke with my dad all the time. That guy's a piece of shit. I hate my dad. But I have friends that make fun of my dad. That's fine, because I know their intent. I know where they're coming from. When Jimmy joked with my dad, and I said that to seem weird. I don't like it. We were doing that, one of those hide and seek videos. Again, at the time, they were a lot realer. So I got caught. And when you get caught, you go to the place where you get caught. And I don't know if there's footage of this. I don't know if, I definitely didn't make the final cut. But he says to me, all right, you're going to jail, like your dad. And like, it's a joke. But when my friends do it, it's fine. And Jimmy just wasn't my friend. He was my boss. And that wasn't cool. And so now,
Yeah.
I'm locked in a cage at his whim. And I have to do things to get the cash I need to live. And I got these cameras on me all the time. And I was unwell. I had editors coming up to me saying, "You good, bud?" And I was like, "Yeah, why? You're clearly unwell." And he goes, "Well, because the footage you're sending in is haunting. Because I'm trying to be funny, but I am mentally decaying, so I'm doing bits." Someone said there is a horror cut of a video in this. And I'm sitting like, who's watching this? Like, who wants to see this? What is fun about this, the video? And so the thing that made me I gotta get out. I can't do another day in a year. Jimmy comes in and I'm asleep. I don't know what time it is. I don't know, it's like 2 or 3 or whatever. He's like, "Why is he sleeping?" I don't know, because I can't sleep. And he comes in, he wakes me up. And he goes, "Ask me why I have 2 briefcases." And I'm like, why do you have 2 briefcases? And he goes, "Oh, because this one's for today, and this one's for the challenge." And I go, "What's the challenge today?" He goes, You're gonna run a marathon. You're gonna do the 22.6K, whatever it is. And you're gonna do it on that treadmill over there. The first challenge I did was a Rubik's Cube, and I'm dyslexic. I'm dumb. I don't know how to do a Rubik's Cube. So your first challenge, Rubik's Cube. I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do it." I was on camera. I don't want to do it. He goes, "Just do it for the thing, like kid, Like there was an element of, Jake will do what we want because he's in house. That's one of the reasons why they got me. Jake's he's an inside guy, so he'll do whatever. We can push him a little extra hard because we know he's good. I couldn't say no to the treadmill thing. Yeah. So I people who run marathons train forever, and it's still hard. Again, writer. Do I look like I run? I don't run, let alone a marathon, let alone have training for it.
This is a really hard watch, and I know I'm not really. There's been a long period there where I haven't interjected, but it's just this is really difficult to watch. Like this person's reliving a traumatic experience, and I feel like we're not the right people to be seeing this. Like. I understand that he wants his story out there, and he deserves to have his story out there, and he deserves to be heard. But are we the right people to be listening to this, Like, this is really difficult.
So, I was in a sunlightless,
Did you try to say no? Like, did you have a choice, or?
Based on the Rubik's Cube thing, and based on all the other stuff, like, there was so much pressure to just do it, just do the thing, And if I refuse, it's just, that's the whole video. I guess the budget's, so much money up in flames because Jake said he wouldn't want to do the thing. And so I wanted to be a good sport, and I wanted to get the boost, and I wanted the cash, and so I start running at 12. I was able to take some breaks, and I asked him, "How long do I have?" He goes, "Until I get back." And I'm running until 3 a.m. Wow. I got off the treadmill. Oh, the blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe, just all over, just these big red. I couldn't walk. My muscles were like just the lactic acid.
Oh my God.
I got off the treadmill, and then the people that came in to like ice my feet, make sure I was good. Then that's when I was like, I'm done. I can't. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. And that's when I get psych in, and I talk to the psych about how I'm not well, and Like I said, there was a lot of good people over there that was saying, you got to pull him out. Yeah, I had friends that did some freelance work. And they would tell me, they'd be like, yeah, everyone knows you over there. Everybody loves you. They go, oh, Jake Weddle, love that guy. Shame what happened to him.
Oh my God.
Like I'm a ghost. And I asked him, I said, how much longer are you guys going to keep me in here? And the guy goes, realistically, like at least 7 more days? No. And they didn't let me leave right away either. They wanted to make sure, everything was fine. So I just, slept for a while. They turned the lights off. And they brought in all my friends, to make it. They brought in all the people I liked. And Jimmy. Then everybody was around me making sure I was good, making sure I was okay. But Jimmy had his he was sitting in the chair turned around like an evil villain. Swear to God. Everyone was looking at me and he was like Lex Luthor over there. He turns around, he stands up. He does the exact same thing when he's pretending to have a human connection. You know when you're watching a video and he's like, oh, stop, you're gonna make me cry. And he touches his eye or whatever as if he's crying. He's just... I didn't have to pretend to do that shit. She says, as if rehearsed by his lawyers. Yeah, your mental health's the most important thing. I just want to make sure you're okay. And the last thing we want you to do is... I can almost hear the word Sue come out of his mouth. The S, he just stopped right before it got out.
Wow. Oh my God.
I did not get the 300K. What I got, he goes, think of it this way. At least you get to keep what you earned. You were in there for XYZ days. You did XYZ challenges, so you got, 100,000 some change, give or take. You know how much money I spent in taxes in 2021? I spent $44,000 in taxes alone.
Oh my
And
God.
now I spent all that money on doing stand-up. I bought plane tickets to go do comedy festivals. My family back home, I gave them a bunch of stuff that they needed. And haven't been back on a Beast set in any official capacity or unofficial capacity since then. And then they did the video with somebody else, and they worked out the kinks. And then I'd still gotten some hot water, and I knew it would. And I've wanted to say a lot of this for a long, long, long time.
You can tell. You can tell that this person is clearly, in need of saying this. And thank God they finally had the platform to do it. Jake deserves that at least. But wow, it was clearly a traumatic experience. Again, it is one of those things where it's it's a hard one because that was the challenge. At the same time, there should have been a bit of give and take with with Jake from the Beast team, where it's well, you're gonna do this, let's give you, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours respite. Go outside, go and just touch grass for 5 minutes, and then come back to it. Maybe that would have ruined the idea of the challenge, maybe. But at the same time, if people behind the scenes are really saying you should pull him out, someone should be going in there from a high up capacity, probably Jimmy himself, and going in and saying, do you know what? People are how are you doing? Genuinely. And if he's I'm really not good, listen, would you like to continue if we do X, Y, and Z? Go outside for 3 hours, 4 hours, have some time for yourself, go and here's some family members as well to be outside with. We'll make sure to turn off the lights every other day. If you need to get the time-lapse shots, I'm sure Jake would have probably had a bit of give and take. As long as someone was giving him something, he would probably have coped a lot better. But at the same time, maybe that undermines the entire point of the video. I mean, if at this point they're already faking videos, what does it matter, you know?
And I feel good now.
Wow.
I just had to get that off there.
So I just want to hop in here and show some text that Jake sent me after this interview. This is July 29, 2021, a few days after he got out of solitary. How are you feeling after a few days? Better. I still couldn't sleep, even a few days out, but I almost have my sleep cycle back on track. My legs and joints are good, but the blisters on my feet still hurt to walk on. Medical advice I got was not to lance them and just let them go away with time. I'm mentally still in an uneasy place, but I've gotten back on better help. My therapist is a little concerned, but we are working on things. Reminder, this is not supposed to be a traumatic life event. This is supposed to be a MrBeast video. Hey, Jay.
Just realised that I'm actually covering up the face, so let me just move myself out of the way. I cannot do it now. There we are. Just going to put me up here, out of the way, so we can get the full picture.
Hope you're doing okay. Meg and I just wanted to check in on you. Hey, I'm good, and I appreciate that. I'm not exactly 100%. I feel like mentally I'm still recovering a bit, but back in therapy, and my therapist is concerned. Haha, but my legs and joints feel better. Like I can walk, but my feet are still covered on those blisters, and those hurt to walk on. But I was told the best thing to do is stay off my feet and let them heal. I'm in Raleigh with my family. Also, it'll be like a month before I get the money, and they aren't giving me all the money. They're giving me what I won up to that point in the game, which was also a slap in the face, but hey, I'm out, I'm alive. Therapist who knows and cares about you. The whole thing was so fucked, and honestly, fuck them for not giving you the money. Meg and I are wishing you the best with your recovery, and please feel free to reach out if you need anyone to talk to or need a place to crash in New York. Hope you're doing well, man. That video you uploaded is money, so good. I appreciate. I'm doing better physically. Mentally, I'm still kind of in a place. I still can't sleep. I've slept 5 hours in the past 3 days, marathon included. I don't know what's wrong with me. Lots of thinking, too much one might say. Hope they're taking care of you where they can. I mean, I was kind of shocked they didn't pay me for the full 25, 30 days. They paid me what I made up to that point. Like even when we have to pull the plug for my mental health, the mechanism of the game is still at play. I'm just happy to be out. I still can't walk well, but it hurts less. And like, I'm not famous enough to burn a bridge. So at the end of the day, I'm still Jimmy's bitch. Like if I was Carl and he did that to me, I'd ruin him. And they want to do it again. That could be your leverage. If the guy breaks down also, 2 is better than 1. Yeah, right. I told them everything they did to me that they can't do again in order to make sure the other person doesn't break down as fast. But like the way the video is meant to function is the problem. It's a bad idea, full stop. It sounds clickbaity, sounds right up Jimmy's alley, but it's morally unethical like on every level. Off-camera breaks, lights off at night, visitation, take the marathon out. Marathon is a video in itself. You can't expect someone to exert themselves like that for 45 seconds of content. The challenges really made it feel dehumanizing, felt like a parody of MrBeast. I felt
This is exactly what I was talking about with the, take the marathon out, turn the lights off, visitation, give people something, keep them human within this concept, not like a caged animal, like poking the monkey and expecting it to perform so that you can get content. That's not how it should be. Give and take. Treat him like a human being.
Like the homeless guy they could exploit. It felt like if Jeff Bezos had a GIMP. It felt like if Jeff Bezos had a GIMP. Part of me wants the footage burned, and part of me thinks that there's a great horror cut in there. LMAO, he was so fake when he came in and said he cared about my mental health. They must have programmed the care about mental health updates. He said, we also don't want you to, and I swear to our Lord and Savior, he stopped himself from saying sue. Also, as far as like, he could have said no, he could have left at any time. I want to show this segment from an internal document at MrBeast called How to Succeed in MrBeast Production. Specifically on page 19, there's a paragraph called No Does Not Mean No.
Oh.
Already insane, because it seems to be co-opting the popular anti-rape slogan, which is a terrible look given the allegations that are going to be coming out very soon.
Absolutely.
It reads, when dealing with people outside MrBeast Productions, never take no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of, and you can call the local Dollar Tree, and the person that answers says, no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees and see if they are fans or if any have kids that are fans. Try talking to their boss's boss. Have me DM them on Twitter and try their social team. If all avenues are exhausted and you are left with a no, that doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. Basically what I'm trying to convey is what we call pushing through no. Don't stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of many tools that when combined dramatically improve your probability of success when producing here. So yeah, this idea of like pushing through no's is a big component to working on MrBeast. And the way that it manifests itself a lot of the time is like a director might tell a producer, hey, we need access to 30 acres of farmland by Tuesday or we lose $500,000. Now, if you're the producer, you obviously know that means get it done or you lose your job.
Yeah.
So what can happen is like a producer's calling up farmers saying, hey, I need to use your land. And the farmer might be like, okay, but you know, I have animals, you can't be making really loud noises, no pyrotechnics, and you got to clean everything up. So the producer is sort of incentivized to lie and say, or maybe the producer doesn't even actually know the total contents of the video, right? Things changed last second. So they're they're financially incentivized to be manipulative and sort of, they're put in positions where it's like, oh, it's either the producer's job or a civilian's job, like where it talks about, hey, maybe the manager would be willing to bend the rules. Well, you shouldn't really be pressuring civilians to bend the rules that could get them fired, you know?
Yeah,
I'll show you a
for
real life
sure.
example. This is unused evidence from part 1. I had seen this Reddit post titled MrBeast Leaving Trash Behind and Debris at Film Site in Aden, North Carolina. Apparently he left a large boat in a pond as well as debris around the film site in the bottom of the pond weeks and weeks after the agreed time frame. This actually rendered it unsafe for campers and almost delayed the camp's opening date multiple times due to not being able to get in contact with MrBeast to get the stuff cleaned up out of the area. So I actually know that this is from a MrBeast video called Protect the Yacht, Keep It, where at the end of that video, he actually says,
If you're wondering, yes, we did ensure the lake was completely cleaned up after this video. For the love of God, subscribe so we can pass T-Series.
Yeah, so he says at the end of the video that they made sure it was cleaned up. I was actually on site for part of this production. I was at this camp. So I decided to send an email out to the camp, basically saying, hey, I heard these rumors. I'm investigating a similar incidents. And the camp responded, actually not denying the claims, going on to say, I am sure that there are no perfect film productions, just as there are no perfect people. I am grateful for the opportunity that we had to host the production crew, and because grace, or forgiveness, has been offered to me so freely, I will choose to offer the same. So clearly alluding to the fact that there was a wrongdoing by MrBeast production team. And that's like sort of the thing is, if you're around Greenville, you know these stories of people working with MrBeast and it being extremely unprofessional, them not doing what they say, but they sort of get by a lot on their good public image. And like, I mean, this camp offered to host them completely for free. And I guarantee, like, if you went to the lake at the camp and you went magnet fishing, like you'd find all sorts of debris that's still there to this day. Like,
wow.
They didn't clean it all up. So in the case of Jake Weddle, like, I'm sure that there were producers who were in a position of, hey, if Jake gets out early, we don't have a video and your job is at risk. So there's...
Wow, that's pretty insane to think, you know, that like it's that cutthroat, you know, like it's like basically do or die, you know, insanity that, you know, oh my God, I just can't get my head around it because this is messing up MrBeast for me big time and I'm disappointed.
There's a tremendous amount of pressure on top of like him being delirious from not sleeping and everything to just manipulate him into staying. Which, you know, I'm sure this isn't like technically against the Geneva Convention on torture because he wasn't technically a prisoner. Like he could have left at any time, but because of the extreme pressure to stay in, it's not really a reasonable expectation that he could have just, you know, walked out.
Because of the implication.
I think Jimmy is a awkward kid who maybe, yeah, had it a little rough growing up. I can't speak on that, but I do have empathy for it because I, you know, had it rough growing up. And I think when you're hyper fixated on something, like I love stand-up, he loves YouTube, everyone, you know, fixates on a thing, you know, I think he just wanted to be the best YouTuber so bad. And because the industry's metrics, you know, rewarded some not great behavior, if you're just going on autopilot based on what the numbers say, you know, you can do some things that maybe aren't good, but reap reward. And I think Jimmy just did what the industry
Needed
and maybe
him to
what
do.
the system that we have set up demanded.
Yeah.
And he didn't care who got hurt. And
Wow.
I think Jimmy surrounded himself with really, really not so great people, and those people were the ones making the decisions. And I want to say, really important, there are so many good people that work at MrBeast who are damn good at their jobs. Like, when Jimmy comes in and asks for something impossible, it's these people's jobs to do it. And they shouldn't be able to make it happen, and they do.
Oh my God.
And so, I don't think people wanted to talk about stuff because I didn't want my friends to lose their jobs. I don't care about my fucking job. I'll die in a hole. I don't care. But I don't want my friends to lose their jobs. You know? I don't want anyone's reputation to be fucked. You know? But let's just go back to my dad for a second, if I may. My dad was like a swim coach, neighborhood swim team. Everybody loved him. Everybody loved him. Behind closed doors, he's a real piece of shit. And so, when stuff starts hitting the fan, what? Him? No! Surely! And then, everyone, thought my mom was the bitch, for not, But then the news broke, that he did what he did to one of the students of the team. And it's like when that comes out, you're not surprised, You just go. When I saw my dad in the news, I said, "Oh, you idiots!" Like I was like, "No, what?" I was, "Oh, dumbass! God damn it!" But I wasn't surprised, and it was just a consequence that's happened to somebody who was really good at avoiding them for a long time. And I don't know, everybody loves Jimmy, and behind closed doors, he is not super great, and that image is cultivated purposefully and intentionally.
This is really something that we've seen before, though. And again, people were shut down for this. Anyone who dared to challenge MrBeast. Let's look at Sunny V2. Not too long ago, made a video why Chris Tyson is going to become MrBeast's worst nightmare. Everybody slated him for it. Sunny V2 was the uncancelable man, came close to being cancelled. Look at where that is now. He was right. There have been countless people who have come forward as ex-employees of MrBeast years ago. I'm thinking back 2018, 2019, and have said, MrBeast is not a very nice person. I was an editor there, for example. He treats people like shit. And then, it comes out, everyone jumps on MrBeast's side, and everyone's like, no, you're the piece of shit for daring to go against Jimmy. That person gets shut down, Jimmy continues. But now, people are really starting to listen. And maybe we should have listened sooner. The signs were there. The telltale signs were there. People were talking about it. People just refused to listen.
And it's branding. It's marketing. It's YouTube.
Okay, so I guess, just one final question on
Sure.
a serious note. Obviously, the Ava Chris Tyson drama. And, that's a known issue of traditional media. Did you witness or hear about any sexual misconduct at the company?
It's crazy. I probably hung out with Ava the most out of the main cast just because I was on Beast Hacks. Now Beast Reacts. I don't know if it's still out. That was a lot of fun because it was just being silly and goofy in front of the camera. And Ava was the only person who was willing to film. Everybody else was too busy or didn't want to, and I was just trying to do my job. Sometimes there'd be like an offhanded joke that's a little gross. I mean, I'm a stand-up, so I'm very desensitized to that. I didn't hear anything that was like, whoa, that's crazy. Like when I saw, the reason I messaged you instead of talking to reporters sweetly like I have been was when I saw the Discord stuff. Because when I got there, it was like 2019, so I guess if the timelines add up, that would have been like handled, for lack of a better term, and then they started bringing more people on. Maybe they thought they had that under the rug. All right, we handled that. Now let's bring in some writers. And when I saw it, all that stuff start coming out. And the potentiality, as of this moment of recording, you know, I know this has been happening fast and stuff has been coming out so fast. Just the potential that Jimmy could have been in those Discord chats, or even the potential that he participated in those Discord chats. After the shit he did to me, if you're gonna make fun of my dad, I don't care what happens to me and my career and reputation after this. I had to say some stuff. So whatever happens at this point.
Outside of it, Chris Tyson, did you ever see or hear about any sexual misconduct at the company?
I've heard rumors. I can't confirm or deny anything. I don't have any tangible evidence, but I've heard stuff that if it could be investigated, that'd be great. But it's like water cooler talk. But I've heard things, yes, of course. I heard, you know, people have been let go for sexually assaulting some very young people.
Oh my god.
The
Oh my
idea
god.
that Jimmy didn't know, or that Jimmy was covering stuff up. He didn't want stuff to come out. You know, he's very careful about his image. You know, the tangible proof that he knew but covered it up. You know, how do you prove that, you know? Well, there was a known sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex offender on the registry and everything, who worked there. And like, you can, you know, someone pees in public, you're on the registry, you know, you get it. You can still have a job after you're on the, that's one thing. You know, you go to prison, you get rehabilitated, that's one thing. You know, like if you do your time, that's fine. I think there should be rehabilitation in this country. But that guy, from what I hear, I can't confirm or deny, from what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people. And they knew that. He's working at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people. And they covered up the fact that not only did he work there, but he was like the manager when it all started. And you know that he knew, and because he'll be in videos, he'll be in thumbnails, he'll be around, and whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? And that your face could be looked up on a thing? Oh. How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender with a physical mask? Like, do I have to, is it more on the nose? Or I don't know why they let him go, because there's rumors back and forth. You know, so I don't know why they let him go, but he did leave at one point. Even if that guy didn't do anything, they still knew about it and he was still around. And
that's it.
What if he's one of the people in the Discord servers?
That's it.
What if he's not? I don't know. But when I was there, they called him Delaware. It's like, why do you call him Delaware? I didn't know. Apparently they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware. That's his nickname? Colloquially? Like, you know, yeah, it's Delaware. Don't ask him why, you know? The fuck?
Oh my god.
Did Jimmy know about it? The likelihood that he didn't know is astronomically low.
Okay, so finally I have a recorded phone conversation. The person on the other end of this line is a different former MrBeast employee talking about Delaware. Also, apparently before this phone conversation got recorded, the person on the other end of the line said that the MrBeast team was actually trying to expunge Delaware's record off the registry, and that's what actually like sparked this person to start recording.
The reason I started, like, to be completely honest with you, the reason I started was extra money was there, like, it didn't fall back and say, you know what I mean? Like, if Jimmy was like, I need a set time, and then it was like, would you do it for like $1,000? Well, that's like, stay up and fucking make a set for like 8 hours. I would say, you know, I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever. And it was Reed's idea to get involved. And it was like, we didn't get you an APL manager, and then we went through that whole cycle of different VPs and managers, and, you know, people that were in charge for us, and
Okay, so Reed is MrBeast's former manager who was in the last video telling Jimmy, hey, don't promote gambling to children. So I think Reed's taken 2 W's this month. Don't promote gambling to children and don't have offenders on payroll. Also,
Wow.
yeah, just from where I'm sitting, it seems extremely unlikely that Jimmy wouldn't know. But I know I'm sure that's the defense he'll go with. So I'll just say preemptively, if somehow Jimmy didn't know about Delaware, I think it's still such an extreme level of negligence. Like, what, you're not doing background checks. You're not.
As the CEO of the company, which I'm sure Jimmy is, I have no doubt he would have known. He would have known. He would have known exactly who was working at his company. He would have been informed of the background of certain people if there was a background to be concerned about. Just as a, heads up, Jimmy, this could come back to bite you on the arse one day. There's no way that he didn't, and that's terrifying.
Everyone at your company knows, but somehow you don't know. I think that needs more of an explanation than just saying, I didn't know. Well, how didn't you know? How did this person get into the company and a company that makes content for children and is around children? So yeah, Jimmy, I think we need an explanation from you or your lawyers and PR people and representatives and spokespersons and on how you could have not known that there was an offender at a high level in your company. And while you're responding to that, why not just respond to the allegations of rigging contest videos and selling fake signatures, running illegal lotteries, the dangerous conditions on the set of Beast games. You should address those too. So yeah, just let us know. Okay, that was my interview with former MrBeast employee.
Oh my goodness. This is something else entirely. This is a completely different kettle of fish, this. This went from, talking about situations and, talking about what's gone on with, Beast Games, with Ava Chris Tyson, to suddenly the cat is out the bag. What do you guys think of this entire situation? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below while you're down there. I don't even know if I can ask you to jump scare the hell out of that like button, but if you want to keep up to date with all of these situations, then, subscribe, and yeah, I'll catch you later. Peace.